Hey, what's up, Yoon-Fam? It is I, Mark Yoon, and today I'm bringing another hopefully exciting video. So what I got for you today is another community reaction video. This is the community reaction video where I asked you last week, or this past week, who you preferred it to be out of Hwang or Algol in that mysterious, shadowy DLC teaser. We got a lot of good answers. I had over 200 comments on that, so I couldn't pick everybody's comment, obviously. But I did get a big chunk of them, so hopefully yours shows up. And if not, like I said, there's always a chance to show up in the next community video by just commenting on the videos. I usually choose them at random, or sometimes I announce which videos are going to be chosen specifically, like I did this week. So with that being said, guys, we're going to just jump right into it, and I'm going to try and answer some of these as I read them and go over them. Bear with me if this is a longer video, because there is more comments than usual to cover. Mr. Fox Wild says, I haven't played as Hwang yet, and I would love to try him out if he comes out, but Algol is one of my favorite characters in the Soul Calibur universe. I get it that he is the main villain, but I would really want to see more stuff rather than just be wasted opportunity like in Soul Calibur 5. They added him into the game, and his fighting style is awesome and all, but they didn't add much of what happens next. He's in 2 games, 4 and 5, but I would really like to see Algol in the reboot. Either way, both Hwang and Algol are my choices. If it's Hwang, I would gladly enjoy Algol, same thing. Both have improved fighting styles and their critical edges, hell yeah. So I somewhat agree with what he has to say. I definitely do appreciate the fact that he does want Hwang back, and that you do like Algol and he's one of your favorite characters. There's just reasons why I said that it shouldn't be Algol. It would be the same situation as in 5. It would just be a wasted opportunity, especially because this is a reboot. So the way you would introduce this character definitely shouldn't be, in the middle of a DLC that not everyone's going to buy, and then have a Soul Chronicle slap to him to try kind of give us a somewhat backstory, which probably wouldn't even give him too much of a backstory. It would probably just be something with Aswell. I think he would be really good if we actually introduced him in Soul Calibur 7 and did it the right way. That's just my opinion. Brown Hedgie says, still waiting for Aeon, laugh out loud. Honestly, I was hoping Hwang was going to be a playable character straight from release, which wasn't the case. I look forward to what they do with him in terms of his kit. As much as I don't care for Algol, I'm very curious as to his interactions with Aswell and what they would be like. Again, I agree. Well, Hwang Sung-young should have been in it from the beginning because he's in the very first Soul Calibur game. He's been in it since Soul Blade, Soul Calibur 1. Soul Calibur 2, he's replaced with Assassin, but he is Assassin. I don't know, which was the basis for the class system in Soul Calibur 3, which he also was in. So, the fact this is a reboot and we don't have him in here, I mean, he's technically in here because he's in Sung Mina's Soul Chronicle. And he's referenced in Libra of Souls, so it's not like he's not in the game, he's just not playable yet, but I totally get it. As he is one of my favorite characters, I would like him back as well, so I'm also rooting for that. Yoshi Cookie says, the blurry outline definitely has my interest piqued. There are plenty of speculations going around regarding who it may be. Who do I actually want it to be next? Hwang. Hwang hasn't been in the main cast in Soul Calibur 3 Arcade Edition. Arguably on consoles, he hasn't been featured properly since the Dreamcast. Regarding the outline, I feel that it looks like it could be Algol, Hwang, or Aeon, as he has feathers like in Soul Calibur 5. Lastly, one streamer said he would like a reimagined Li Long with a new weapon. That would be so epic. Long story short, whoever it ends up being, I sincerely hope that there is a Season 3 with lots of characters and no new guests. That's going to be a big no. There has to be a guest. That's the way Soul Calibur works with paying for its seasons. They use prior seasons budget, and then they go on to using cross-promotional stuff with other games and stuff like that. So we are definitely going to get one guest, and if the game data files are correct, we are going to be getting Aeon, Rock, and Yoon-Song. Or, some people think it's Algol. I have reasons why I think it's Yoon-Song, but you can check out my videos on that. Ghost7 says, Algol currently has the lore with the Evolve organization, which Grow is a part of, and talks about the Hero King, etc. Also, I like his fighting style. Yeah, I do too. I just think that they can't like just throw him in here like last minute in season 2. The build-up is foreshadowing. I'm guessing for Soul Calibur 3. I mean Soul Calibur 7. Kendrick Price says, I prefer Algol because it would be awesome to have Algol versus Aswell, 2 gods. Yeah, I think that's what this is building up to. Again, like with the Ultimate Seed coming to fruition and possibly awakening Algol, who's like asleep in the astral fissures. And this is, you know, all the heroes are coming together on their journeys. This is definitely building up to be like a giant like war-esque type thing that I think was a missed opportunity in 4. So I think that's where it's heading. Chris Wright says, I would like Hwang for that slice of nostalgia. Yeah, he's definitely a base cast character, as much as people don't like to admit it. If you hear anybody saying that he's just a clone of like Xianghua or Mitsurugi, because I've heard both, it is true just based on the weapon that they were using, but he also has his own unique kicks and throws and stuff and movements, so he's not actually a clone. He just has like a similar moveset, just like any character with the same weapon. One word, Hwang, says Matthias Anderson HC. Well, thank you for that comment. Yeldell GW says, Hwang for me, as he was the character I played the most in Soul Edge. I don't care about OG or legacy status, I simply like the character. Playing as busted as hell boss characters never appealed to me, and I had more of my fill with Algol players than Soul Calibur 4. Yeah, the Algol players were super annoying in Soul Calibur 4. I don't think they should have let the bosses be playable online. But yeah, we'll see what happens now. Jesse MB27 says, I'd rather be Hwang for one. He has been absent for longer, last being playable in Soul Calibur 3 Arcade Edition released in 2006, and for the simple fact that Soul Calibur 6 already has several big bads, Nightmare, Inferno, if one was to count him as separate from the former, and Aswell. The big bads in the making, Raphael and Sasalamel, and thus trying to cram Algol would not be ideal, and instead should be saved for a sequel. Yeah, Jesse, I'd have to agree. I'm not sure about Raphael and Sasalamel. I think they're going to go a little bit away from that. If anything, they might be a minor antagonist for a period and then join the crew later. I'm not even sure if we're going to see Zasalmel like trying to extract his plans like he did before, because he was contacted by his like past self or something like that, because he keeps being reborn. So he was one of the 2 characters that actually has prior knowledge of the previous universe or previous timeline, however you want to put it. Cassandra, obviously, and Zasalamel. So I'm not sure if he's going to go along the same path since he knows the outcome of what happened last time. I'm not sure if he's going to want to proceed with that. But it would be interesting to see. Christian Gray says, I don't think it's going to be Algol because of the timeline we're in right now, and like what you said in the video. It's going to be random if they did release him. Just keep him for 7, and it would be cool if they give him the Cervantes treatment, where he's basically looks decayed a bit. But Hwang, I think they should focus more on the Taekyon, which is his martial arts style, the precursor to Taekwondo, and give him more unique moves. I got introduced to him in 3, and I would love him, but they should do that to be more different than Xianghua. Also, during my time in Libra, I saw him with his headband from 1 on in his story model. Yeah, he does have his headband. He also has the scarf, and it looks like they're going with a mixture of like a Soul Calibur 1 and Assassin, kind of, so it'll be interesting to see what that character actually looks like. But, yeah, I agree with you. Nightblaze911 says, after looking at that silhouette carefully, I believe it's Hwang. Ignoring the top part in case it's some over-exaggerating scarf in the wind, it looks like the center and the bottom you could see Hwang's hairstyle going down, and the character is in particular combat pose with the Chinese blade. If I had to choose between Hwang and Algol, I have to say Hwang just to continue the Origin series. Completely agree. I don't think I need to touch on anything else because I've already mentioned it. Adam Patel says, I like Algol a bit more than Hwang. I find Algol's backstory and overall character design to be very interesting. His weapons and fighting style were very unique and fun as well. It makes me think that there's more sense narratively to add than Hwang, though, especially because they already appeared in other character stories. Hwang is cool too, so I'd love to see him in the game. Yeah, especially because Hwang needs the precedent of being there because he's a legacy character from the first game, so if you're going to tell the story, he's got to be incorporated. But, as far as Algol's backstory, I'm not sure if it's going to be the same backstory as the previous timeline, because, you know, the butterfly effect and all, every kind of change can, like, branch off into different changes. Just like Cassandra gets the right to name Sophitia's son, and it's totally not Patroclus' name. It's like Duodoculon or something like that. I don't remember, but it's definitely not Patroclus. So we're definitely going in like different directions, and we can see the beginnings of the changes from the Soul Calibur 1 story in those characters and even in their Soul Chronicles. And I think a lot of it has to do with like astral fissures and Aswell and stuff like that, but obviously we're going to see where it goes. Coolbird00 says, to be honest, I just want a brand new character with brand new skills to add to the expanding Soul Calibur story. Yeah, I can't lie, dude. More is always better, especially when it comes to create a character. I would love to have more stuff. Hera Cortez says, laugh out loud, I prefer Yoon Song, but of course, he's reserved for Season 3, so it's Hwang for me. As I want to see how he would be different from Yoon and the contents of his Soul Chronicle, Yoon's cameo. Quick side note real quick, guys. Yoon Song is his first name, but Hwang is the character's family name. So if we're going to compare both characters, we should either both use their family name or their first name. So Yoon Song's family name is Hwang. So if you're going to say Hwang, you should probably say Hong when you're comparing the two. And vice versa, Hwang's actual name is Sung Gyung. So if you're going to say Yoon Song, then you got to say Sung Gyung. It's just weird. It'll be like if we were at the mall and I called one person by his last name, another person by his first name, and another person by their middle name. If we're going to talk about people in groups, if it's individual, I know what you're talking about, so it doesn't matter. But if you're talking about people in groups, it's better just to go with one set preset standard, so it's easier for people to follow along. But other than that, I agree with the comment. Arthur Bruce Crawford says, Hwang by far. It would only be fair to reintroduce the original cast in this reboot, and since no Lee Long announcement has been made so far, and at least Hwang should cover the thing for now. In addition, we already have Algol type fighter, so we are in desperate need of another Korean fighter now. Of course, I completely 100% agree. The Korean fighters are my favorite in the game, so the fact that we still are lacking one is, or two, is cause for concern for me, and I hope that they actually get both in. Michael Garcia says, I want Hwang back because he's an OG character, a big OG character, one of my best characters. I can mop the floor with all computer characters. I mean, his throws, his midair kicks, his blade strikes are the best, especially his invisible sword. Oh, don't get me started with that invisible sword, dude. So that's why I want him back. I kind of not want Algol back. Don't get me wrong, I love the character, but I feel like he should be a character in the 7th game. I feel like if they just put him in the 6th, it'll be a waste, but that's just my opinion. Well, it's my opinion also. I completely agree, and I love that invisible sword. It was so fun trolling people with that. The range on that sword was like half the screen. It was insane. Solarflame95 says, I prefer Algol, hands down. I have nothing against Mr. Hwang, but Algol has been more of one of my personal favorites. He has a sympathetic backstory, really cool and unique moves, and he looks like the Pillarmen from JoJo's. I agree that he probably should be saved for Soul Calibur 7, but you said we could be biased, so I want him in the game now. Laugh out loud. Also, I'll take this time to complain about a silly argument I've seen other people make why Algol shouldn't return. People have said, why would you want Algol back? We already have Aswell, and to that I say Algol and Aswell are two completely different characters. They look nothing alike, play nothing alike, and act nothing alike. The only similarity between the two is that they both use a form of the two swords as their weapons. That's it. Other than that, they're completely different. Okay, I'm done. Now I guess I'll move on to why I don't want Hwang. Well, it's not so much that I don't want Hwang back. I mean, as much as I like characters like Amy and Cassandra, and why I have nothing against them, it's just that there are several other characters I'd rather see make them in before them. That's lofty. Obviously, we've talked about it before, so I don't really need to go into too much detail about this. Why he should be saved for Soul Calibur 7, you seem to agree with that, so it's not really like that big of a thing. I like Algol, I just want him to be done correctly, so that's why I want him done in 7. I want his backstory fleshed out, I want him to be integrated into the actual main story, I want the Soul Chronicles to reflect him actually being in the game as the main antagonist. I want to see him incorporated in whatever Libra of Souls type mode they have in Soul Calibur 7. I just want him as a part of the game. If they throw him into Soul Calibur 6 as an afterthought, not everyone has not everyone buys the DLC, and even if they do, like, we're not even sure if Algol is going to be playable online. Like, they might lock him to only story mode, just like they did with Inferno. I'm not sure what they're going to do with his backstory. It could change, so there's just like a lot that like I am looking forward to for the character, especially for creative character parts, but I want him to be saved just so he gets fully fleshed out. Metal Raptor says, I'll be happy with either character, but I prefer it if it were Hwang, on the grounds that he hasn't been an official character on any of the game's rosters since Soul Calibur, and I'm extremely curious as to how they're going to implement him. If it's Algol, then I would have two conditions that the game must meet. We have to be able to use his fighting style for Create a Soul this time around, because neither Soul Calibur 4 nor Soul Calibur 5 allowed us to do that. And 2, his secondary outfit better be his Soul Calibur 4 outfit, because I hated the diaper. Yeah, he's got this, like, Greek X-esque, like, Speedo kind of thing in 4. In 5. And 4 is, he's, like, fully armored and stuff like that. So I think that's what Metal Raptor is talking about. But, yeah, I'd have to agree. You keep on mirroring the things that I'm saying, so it's not like I can disagree with myself, you know what I mean? Caliber75, the gamer, says, Hwang, I would like to see him back more so. They did a great job of changing up the moveset for the returning characters. It'll be cool to see his kicks again, laugh out loud. Yeah, his Tekion style is excellent, and I've always loved using his kicks. I really want him back, so there's nothing more I can add to that. KittyMeowser Gaming says, I have a simple, silly reason for also wanting Hwang back. I absolutely love his kick moves. His kick throws were fire back in the day, and such a cheese way to knock people out of the ring. I hope he would still have those throws. Yeah, just like we keep talking about, his kicks were totally unique. His movement was unique. His grabs were unique. Everything about the character was unique, except some of his moves mirrored either Mitsurugi, because he was originally supposed to be a replacement for Mitsurugi, and Xianghua, because he uses the same weapon. Other than that, it's like he's not really a clone. Like I really don't understand why people keep saying that. It's usually people who just listen to other people or people who haven't played the game. Terrence Sproul says, I wouldn't mind if one of them comes back, just as long as they are fun to play with. They're both interesting characters. Besides, it'll be new for me to mess around with Hwang, because I've played Soul Calibur 3, not the arcade edition. On the other side, Algol is fun to play with. Hopefully we get to use his fighting style for our created character, because it was locked in Soul Calibur 4 and 5, but at the end, it wouldn't mind if one of them comes. Great video, G. Thanks, Terrence. I think to unlock Hwang in Soul Calibur 3, you either need to encounter him in the trials, or you have to, I think, battle in 600 battles or something like that. It's something convoluted, but I believe it's that. Jaden Evans says, I really want Hwang to come back. Seriously, I started playing Soul Edge as a kid, and Hwang was one of my favorites, and the reason that I love that game so much. I've always been so sad they removed Hwang in all the later games. Well, he is in 1, he's in 2 as Assassin, he's also in 3. So, the only games that he hasn't been in thus far is 4 and 5. Discounting the spin-offs, obviously. But I totally agree, he definitely needs to come back, and I would love to see like what happens with him. D-Sama says, if it's Algol, I'll be very disappointed, honestly. As well as the main antagonist of Soul Calibur 6. Since Algol was the antagonist in Soul Calibur 4, Soul Calibur Broken Destiny, and he returned in the 1/4 finished Soul Calibur 5, I want Hwang because he's an OG Yoon Song. Low-key took his place due to the war, but stayed gone even after Soul Calibur 5, which is during that time the war was over. Now this is a reboot, so I would like to make more sense for the OGs to return. Plus, he is in the game like Cassandra and Amy were before they dropped. Yep, those are all very good points. Usually when somebody is in a Soul Chronicle in a fully fleshed out way, just like Hwang was in Seungmina. I mean, even Seungmina's end card is basically Hwang carrying Seungmina, which is a throwback to Soul Calibur 1. That's all foreshadowing that Hwang's coming next, honestly. Crimsonite 20 says, 100% Hwang, save Algol for Soul Calibur 7. 100% agree with you, Crimsonite. Virgil Wright 70 says, Hwang, that poor dude got put aside for far too long. Time for him to get back into the main roster after all of these years. Of course, I 100% agree. EXPlayer01 says, this is a tough question. I played a little bit of Algol in Soul Calibur 4 because I liked his fighting style and it was so different from the main cast. I liked his spiky armor attacks and the shooting orbs from his chair. Those were cool. Those were very cool. I can't really say I want Hwang that much because I've never really knew the character. I started at 2 and skipped 3, so yeah. But I played Assassin a lot in Soul Calibur 2. I was really just engaged by his enthusiasm and high energy and laughs whenever he does a move or win. I really like that, so I don't know if this counts, but I want Hwang, but because I want Assassin. But either character's okay for me. I'm not really a big fan of either of them. I am still going for Yoon Song to be revealed, but yeah, I guess I just wanted to share that, I guess. Well, if the data is correct, then Yoon Song should be the last character that is released for the game in Season 3. So hopefully we get all 3 of the characters, because Yoon Song and Hwang have a very different dynamic as well. Hwang and Hong are, like, super close to Seungmina, so, like, hopefully, like, we get all that fleshed out. That's why I want all 3 characters back. Sophie and Lamar says, I want it to be Hwang because of his fighting style. He's also one of the OG characters, and I miss him. And in my opinion, Algol should never be DLC because he's supposed to be a boss. And aside from that, I want the character to somehow make sense, and Algol doesn't. The event that makes him appear has yet to even happen. Again, great points. I completely agree with that. Seth Broadwick says, "You never read my comments, out loud anyway." Well, I'm reading it now. But since you're doing this video, I would like to see Algol due to creating custom characters from him. It would be better looking, in my opinion, more powerful, and his item parts would definitely look cool. Plus, Hwang will have that female character that is very similar to Hwang's style of fighting. Plus, this item parts aren't cooler than Algol. Well, we don't know what Hwang's design is going to be yet in this reboot, so he could be completely redesigned. Fighting with the Chinese blade, that's not really a female fighting style, even though Xianghua fights that way. That's just how you use like curved scimitar type blades. That's the way they're supposed to be used. It's called like a moon stance. I can kind of understand like where you're coming from with that. With Algol stuff, like creating a custom character, that's if they let us use his style for created characters. I mean, if he is in 6, I don't see why not, because we are able to use Aswell, but we're also not able to use Inferno, and we can't even use Inferno online. So if they do a similar thing with that, because like Aswell is the main antagonist of the game, but he's not, I wouldn't really say he's like a boss. He's like a pseudo boss. Like he's more of a lead up to Algol than like an actual fleshed out like main character himself. He's got a really big backstory and all that stuff. I'm not saying that. But what I will note is that we also don't know his character design. Like, he could come back as a Soul Calibur 4 variation, and if you think that, or his 5 variation, and if you think Hwang's not as cool as him, then we might just get, like, a scarf and a diaper. So, based on that, we'll just see how it goes. Thank you for commenting. James Shepard says, "For me, it has to be Hwang Sung-young, and these are the reasons why I think that he should return and not Algol. 1, he's one of the OG characters from Soul Blade, Soul Edge. 2, he's in Sung-mina's Soul Chronicle, wearing his Soul Calibur 1 outfit, and he saves her from the Fugal Systemus monsters. 3, the style hasn't been in since Soul Calibur 3. 4, Soul Calibur 6 is lacking in Korean characters. 5, he's more interesting than Algol, who I think would be better suited to return in Soul Calibur 6. 7. 1000% agree, James, on all of those points." Tiago Guerrero says, "I prefer Hwang, without a doubt, for several reasons. Basically, I can't add much to what you said in the video, because I agree with everything. He is a legacy character, like Rock, and I want to see all the legacy characters come back in this game. He has a very cool playstyle, and can be used to develop the Mina storyline. Additionally, I also have in mind several characters that I want to create and create a soul. Algol is a cool character, of course he is. I prefer him 1,000 times over than Aswell, but the game already has a character with a very similar fighting style, so I don't know what Algol would add. In Liber mode, we realized that Algol had a lot of importance in the history of the swords. That is true. It is the only reason I imagined that Bandai would put him in the game instead of Hwang. Let's go Hwang, hurry up." Postscript, "My wishes for Season 3 are Rock Lizardman, a new character. I would love to see an Archer. That would be so cool and unique. And a guest, and I agree with you, Algol deserves much more than just DLC. Well, coming out on Monday, I have an interesting video about, like, well, I'm not even going to hint at it. It's just going to be interesting, so stay tuned for that. It has something to do with what you mentioned. Patriots1112 says, "Between the two, Hwang for show. I have PTSD from Soul Calibur 5. I hated Algol, but really, give me Lizardman." Well, Patriots, you watch my channel all the time, so you know what's going on with Lizardman, and I agree that Hwang should come back. PTSD from Soul Calibur 5 seems to be a real thing within the Soul Calibur community, because unless it's like your first game and you have no priors with any of the other games, Soul Calibur 5 really disappointed a lot of people. I mean, it helped to kill the series and force a reboot, so besides that, like, yeah, I agree. Ashton Bird says, "It does not matter to me because I don't know much about Hwang, but he seems like an interesting character and his movesets are unique. As for Aswell, I don't mind him because he's an interesting character and his movesets are unique. Both characters are awesome in their own regards. I would say that the mysterious silhouette is Hwang. As for Algol, I want him in Season Pass 3. It would make more sense for them to put him in Soul Calibur 7, but we don't know how long it will take for that to be made. The last character in Season Pass 2 could be anyone, although if they plan to reveal the last character in Season Pass 2 and reveal the next character in Season Pass 3. agreed, but it doesn't really matter how long it takes for the game to get made, as long as it gets made properly, in my opinion. And it's not an excuse just to throw characters in here just to have them in here and rush their storylines, because that's what led to the downfall of 5, so I don't want them to see them go that route again. I think Bandai Namco knows that. That's why they're playing this so close to their chest. Alright, and I do have some other comments here. Obviously, I couldn't go over everything. There's a lot of comments, so I'm just going to play them right now while I'm talking about it with this short outro. So if you see your comment on there, it's not that I didn't appreciate it or didn't want to go over it. A lot of the comments were reiterating the same points, so not that redundancy is a problem, because I would read all the comments. I did respond to most of them in the actual comment section where they were laying, but I want to thank everybody for watching this video and for giving me your comments. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel out a lot. You guys know me, I try not to beg for all that other stuff and just let the community rise naturally. You can check out my Discord in the comment section in the description box down below if you want to chat with me about anything else. We have a fun time in there and we talk about life and all kinds of stuff. You also can get information on videos releasing, and there's other YouTubers in there as well, so it's a fun time. And there's also other people affiliated with the channel, such as KittyMeowser Gaming and Ragaroth, that are also in the description box, that you can find links to their channels down there below. And as always, guys, I appreciate you. Yoon-Fam Yoonite. And as always, thank you.
And thank you.
Hey, what's up, guys? Have you always wanted some sweet Mark Yoon merch? Maybe a thick U shirt, maybe a shirt from Squirt, maybe my pretty face with my logo all over your body, or a throw pillow, or blanket, or anything? Well, you're in luck, because I just launched my merch store, and it is going to be available on Redbubble, and you will find a link to it in my description box down below. It's got a lot of quality content, and a lot of good stuff for you to pick up, so you can show your support for the channel, and just rep Mark Yoon.